Cash, thanks for getting your slides in.
Yeah, I missed like by a couple of days. But that's
That's
fine.
okay. Don't worry, we all missed by a couple of days.
Okay,
We're good. It's just, we've got to get it in by a reasonable time.
I know,
Otherwise, Jawad and I get into a lot of trouble. So,
I know.
hey, Cash, quick question for you.
Hmm.
I was looking for that. You said there was the detailed 10 torrent white paper released publicly, and
Yes.
I couldn't find it. If you could possibly send me a link. Um, I got a contact from Ilad at Tenstorrent and emailed them asking if they'd be willing to come and present that white paper. I haven't heard back yet, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, I think it's 3 minutes past the top. This should be a shorter meeting today. Just a few items in the agenda that I listed out yesterday. I was going to start with Kevin, but Kevin isn't here yet. So let's move on to maybe Innovation Village, David.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
How is my audio coming through? Is it coming through okay, or?
Yeah, I can hear you nicely.
Okay. All right. Should I share?
Yes, please. So
All right.
I'm going to just flip the order.
Right.
We'll just do Innovation Village first for everyone, and then we'll move on to Bo 2.1. And Kevin. Kevin had some questions too. So
Yeah, it's related.
go ahead, David.
Okay, thanks, Anu. So hi everyone. I wanted to cover a little bit of details about the Innovation Village. We have a couple of slots still open. So if you are interested in this, in what I'm about to say, please do let me know. Now is a good time. So for those of you who don't know what Innovation Village is, basically it's an area of the Global Summit that's reserved for demos. And really, these are not company booths. These are meant to demonstrate OCP technologies. And we have actually the whole Innovation Village consists of several sub-projects. the OCP subproject has an area that's reserved for us and that we use to demo our stuff. These are at the high level not meant to be a full commercial product demos. These are things in the works that may not be commercially available yet, but something that is based off of OCP technologies. I wanted to show you also how this looks. Forget the branding, but this is how kind of it looks. We have the walkway and with big banners informing folks what's going on. And then next to that, we have the station demos where we can exhibit stuff. For this year's, as you can see, it's fairly large at 80 feet by 52 feet. That's reserved for Innovation Village. Overall, OCE will have 8 tables that we can use to demo stuff. And actually on these 8 tables, we can fit 16 participants, although this year I expect that we'll have 1 participant per table, which is kind of nice. Previous years, this has been very interesting with a lot of people coming by and asking questions. It's a little bit it feels nicely with the whole OCP, right? A lot of the company booths and the companies have are focused on racks. But one thing I'm noticing is that with chiplets growing in popularity, the traffic to the Innovation Village is kind of growing. I did the Innovation Village for a couple of years in a row, so the traffic has been growing and people are coming by and asking questions. So it has been kind of nice. What we will be allowed to do this year is on our tables, we can put up a small sign that describes what the demo is about and which company is demoing. Because as you can see on this, it's just a banner that explains it gives the overall area name and maybe list of companies that participate, but it doesn't really tell people what's going on. So this year we will be putting up small signs on the tables informing people about what they're about to see. And I expect that to drive additional interest from folks walking by. This is the manual that I'm sharing. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's not that's relevant only to the people who are to participate. But this is one thing I wanted to highlight. I'll probably say it many times. This is really a great opportunities for companies to come and showcase their products, which are based off of OCP technologies. And that's interesting. And one thing you will notice, the theme of this year is leading the future of AI. So anything that's AI related, or if you can explain how your product is helping AI, that would be a perfect place to display your product. In terms of logistics, if you have not signed up for Innovation Village yet and are interested or have questions, do feel free to contact me. I'll post my email address in the chat window shortly. So any interest, any questions, do let me know. Anything that you want to demonstrate, that would be awesome. Whether it's protocol, any implementation, software, AI, anything interesting, this is the perfect opportunity to come to the Innovation Village. I see a question
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, it's Eva. So I wanted to also encourage for anybody that is going to have their products listed here. Obviously, we have the marketplace, right? If you're a member of Open Compute and you're thinking or you're working to have your product list or your product in this innovation village, shoot me a message, please. I'll link my information in the contact here, or I'll send my information in the chat here, to make sure that you're reaching out if there is, a way. We have that chiplet section on the marketplace. Let's have that listed. And what we can do is we can kind of amplify the information. So we have our newsletter that comes out. We can, before the Global Summit, make sure that it gets listed in the newsletter. You can promote that on your end, that you're going to be, featured there. So we can drive the traffic and a little bit of, a little bit more highlight to it, if that's okay. So I'll drop my information. Feel free to reach out to talk through how your products and if it's a good fit to have your products listed on that chiplet section, because we're trying to build that out as well.
Yes, thank you. That's a very good point. I also posted my email in the chat for anybody who is interested. Please feel free to reach out. So yeah, that's about what I wanted to cover. Again, we have a nice 6-foot table that we can demo stuff. So this is a perfect
So David, there's still
opportunity.
spots left for people, right? I just want to.
Yes,
Okay.
but please don't wait. I need to submit the list of participants next week. I'm sure I can add people after that, but if you are thinking about it, kind of, and leaning towards participating, send me email now.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Eva.
All right, thank you. And any questions about the Innovation Village? Any comments? Any past participants that would like to share their experience?
Hey, David, I think we'd asked, but have you got a list of who is going to be there yet, or
I'm compiling the list right now,
Okay.
and I'll set up a meeting with participants next week to go over the details about the setup, monitors, and stuff like that.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, this is Kevin. Both Kosh and I were participants last year, so we can vouch for the level of traffic that we can get. So, and particularly with the location we had last year. So, yeah, it's a good opportunity to demonstrate new technology outside of the regular booths where you're demonstrating products.
Yep. Okay. One thing I should mention. So these tables are free to display stuff. However, the passes for the booth stuff are not complimentary. You still have to obtain a pass yourself to enter the venue, but the table itself is complimentary.
You need to not only get a pass for the venue, but you need to get a, what's it called, exhibitors badge or something after you do that, so you can get in early before the floors open.
That's right, for
Very
setup
important
and things like that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But the important thing is you
Yes.
have to have a pass somehow.
100% agree.
Right.
That's
So
correct.
yep.
So as a speaker, I know you get a pass, right? But is that valid
Yes.
for this, or okay?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
You get the opportunity to register. You still have to register as a speaker, so don't forget. The email
Okay.
went out
Yes.
yesterday, I think, so.
Got it.
Yeah, so the way that it works is whoever is participating, I will need up to 2 people per station, and I will send that list to the organizers, and they will give you the additional exhibitor stamp on your pass that would allow you to enter the venue at any time for setup and things like that. Right? If you don't have the exhibitor stamp on your pass, you are allowed in the venue only during official exhibit hours, not outside of those hours. But that is something for me to compile and to give to OCP. And sometimes people are late and they forget, or staff changes, right? Who is attending? So we can still make changes after that. It's not set in stone, but it's good to have the list at the beginning.
Yes,
All right.
so David, I just wanted to clarify one thing. Yes, the tabletops are complimentary. However, the people signing up to have the tabletop are making the commitment to have at least one person at the demo station to show the demo and answer questions at all times that the exhibit is open.
Yes, thank you for the clarification, Chief. Yes. Sir. All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, David. We're going to move on to the next topic now, which is the BOW 2.1, and Kevin is here. Unfortunately, so the BOW 2.1 basically had 3 components to it. One was the BOW memory, which Kevin is leading. The second one was the BOW Flexi, which Cash had started leading, but life got in the way. Work got too busy, and Morgan from Infineon is now leading that effort. And so I can see a clear path to getting that done. Probably by Global Summit next year, we'll have a hopefully something useful to share. Morgan unfortunately couldn't be here today, so I just wanted Kevin to go through what we are going to share at the Global Summit for the 2.1, because I'm realizing as I meet and talk to more people that the need for die-to-die PHY at lower data rates, not just catering to the high end of the market, is something that people would love to see. And if it complies with an existing BOW 2.0, that's an even nicer thing as opposed to a completely different standalone. The one piece that we've been trying to push on the BOW 2.1 has been the optical piece. Unfortunately, we haven't had that much traction there. Shahab started running it. Shahab was doing a great job. And then again, work and life got in the way. And I'm afraid at this point, Shahab's going to be a little too busy. His company got acquired by AMD. And I was actually hoping things would settle down, but it seems to have actually picked up in pace for him. So I'm actually going to be looking for another volunteer to lead that. So a BOW optical. Let me know if you know somebody who'd be interested in helping Shahab, or even taking over from Shahab. I haven't had a chance to talk to him if he's got the time or not. I'm hoping he can continue, but I don't want people to go nuts trying to do too many things. So.
新的 boom 要来了吗 ？boom
Okay, so I'm going to give the control to Kevin.
First, unmute myself. There I go. So what you want me to do is just kind of give a quick overview of what
Yes, please.
was submitted to present at OCP.
And I know you have some questions, and Cliff is here. And maybe you want to, is Cliff still here? Cliff is still here. Maybe you want to address those first, Kevin, because I was going to keep the meeting down to 8:30 today. So I want to make sure we
Yeah. Sure. I think what Cliff and I traded emails on this the other day. So I think we, as part of this presentation, I'll just show that we are near publication on one of the contributions related to Bo. So that is,
Actually, Kevin,
that's not working.
Kevin, my understanding is that the contribution for the memory portion will be complete by Summit, so you can talk about that as an approved contribution. And we already have the approved contribution, which we talked about at APAC Summit for the optical interconnect. So I'm not sure if you're talking about both of those. However, it should be fine at Global to talk about them as approved contributions.
Okay. That's part of the question. I'm gonna try again to share. Sorry, I had a dual screen problem going on, but I think this is working. Coming through okay?
Yeah.
All right. So you'll see a couple of, so this is actually a draft submission. So it was submitted and I'm still working on updates because the final slides are not due. But there are some notes in here to that effect, Cliff, like what should I say here? Those are kind of notes to myself and kind of notes you just addressed. So the first thing I did was I just gave under the OCE, we have a lot of different work streams. One of them was this 5 metrics. Shahab also led that and hasn't been available to do work on that recently. So I just have a 1-page update on that. That was published last year and links to where stuff is available. So I'll talk about that briefly. The rest of these slides are about Bo 2.1, as you said, Anu. This is the keys introduction. So a bunch of wires is a open standard die spec. We've talked about in prior meetings, and as Cliff said, we just talked about at APAC was Bo Optical and Bo Flexi, which is what Anu was just talking about, is the Streamline Phi with kind of SDR mode, so no initialization and quick bring up, and that's what Kosh has been leading and Morgan is working on now. Extending and Bo Memory, which is the one that I was leading with a lot of collaboration in the Workstream. And Bo Memory is the first one to be published. I have to confirm that it is in fact published. It may be published today, in fact. So that was what I was told. In any event, I will fix that before it becomes the final.
Can I maybe make a few suggestions along the way, or
Please do.
Okay, so I think it'd be great to mention both the optical as an approved contribution and Bo Memory as an approved contribution and put the links to the contribution database as they are approved. On the previous
So
discussion,
I'm not sure what you mean by Bo Optical was approved. So it's not a contribution that I'm aware of.
No, it's so Cliff, we're very preliminary in the Bo Optical. We're looking for help and looking for collaboration and maybe even a newer someone to lead it. So
am I confusing this with something else?
Yeah, I think you're confusing it with the
link layer. Yes,
link
sorry.
layer.
the link layers, yeah, that's a whole different one. Those are moving along quite nicely.
Okay, my bad.
Which is here, and
yeah.
I'm not part of my or this talk
No,
because I assume
two
it's
separate
another
talks.
Talk. That's fine. I'm just getting confused between the two. Can you go
no
back?
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
If there's been if you go back to the first one,
Which first one?
The talk about Shahab's work.
Yes, this one. Well, 5 metrics.
Yeah. If there's been no advance in the last 12 months, I don't know why we would talk about it.
Yeah, that's a good question. The reason Anu and I wanted, so it's just one slide, and the reason I wanted to talk about it is because we want people to use this contribution and we want to remind them of it. And otherwise, it's just going to die on the vine because we've never had the follow-up that we had hoped. Charlotte's
Yeah.
just too busy. That's
So
my
we're
opinion.
we're leading with something that's near dead on the vine, doesn't get a lot of excitement. I would, if you're going to mention it, I would drop it to the last chart with the call to action.
Great. Okay. That's good feedback.
If
Thank
you're
you.
going to do it. And here, I think you want to be careful because I have similar feeling. I've been hearing about optical flexi and memory for a year and a half, and I hear the same things almost. So maybe make sure somehow you're mentioning this as a plan and highlight what the achievements are here so people can feel there's been some movement, like a bunch of wires 2.1 memory has just been approved. Put that up front and make it focus on that. Otherwise, uh, like I said, I worry people will get the idea there's not much happening here.
Understand. So this is just an introduction slide. So I do intend to give updates on all three. Let me go through it, Cliff, and then the reason
Sure.
I end with Bow Memory is because it is in fact the one that has the most progress. Your advice maybe put it up front. That could be fine. I could
Well,
reverse the order.
if
But
I see the same slides for the first half of your presentation, I
yeah,
might be asleep by the second half.
no,
Sorry.
no.
Just kind of giving you some
Yeah, I hear
suggestions.
you and understand. So let's and in fact, let's talk about Bow Optical. There has been effectively no progress. So these two slides are the same as you've seen before.
And
And
maybe
it's
we
a call for, so maybe we bury that at the end instead of the beginning. But part of the reason to bring it up is just that we really need it's got a lot of interest in APAC, but it doesn't have any leadership or activity yet. And that's what it needs.
Right.
Yeah, then maybe you wrap all the ones that need help at the end and with a big call to action.
This is the only one. So then, both Flexi, there's actually quite a bit of difference in this that have been changes that have been made recently, and that Morgan will talk to. So it's both
Yeah.
Flexi is making good progress. And what we're trying to do in there is making good progress, and we've got some additional slides that weren't part of the pre-submission that we're going to add to show what we're doing there. And
That's
then
great.
as you said, in memory, I could lead with that since the most work's been done on that. I've got descriptions, I've got examples straight out of the spec, including
Right.
maps and what we're doing, acknowledgement of all the people that worked on it. And I intend to add a link to the actual contribution when it's published. So these slides are still, a bit of a work in progress, but I could lead, as you said, with memory.
Yeah.
And then do both Flexi and then end with optical. So that's would be
That's
reverse of
really
what I have, but that's good
order,
feedback.
Cliff. Like memory's made the most progress and it's going to be a spec. I'm hoping that Flexi next year we can say it's a spec because it's getting a lot of traction now. The opticals were been a little bit stymied here. Like Kevin said, there's interest. I just haven't been able to get the right folks together, and that's probably going to be my focus post this one. But I think at least a call for volunteers to come is what I'd like to have. One slide, if you're okay with it, Cliff.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's not my choice. You can do whatever you want. I'm just providing feedback on my thoughts.
Which I appreciate.
I would suggest maybe for the optical, we should have a separate discussion on
Yeah.
are there some other work streams that we can bring in because co-packaged optics is really exciting and there should be people that want to work on it.
Okay.
So let's just maybe do a separate discussion on.
Sounds good. Yeah. I've been meaning to. It's just far too many things going on. This one got pushed out. So I want to focus on that post this global summit for sure and get that because like you said, it's a nicely growing area. We just need to get our act together. So
Yes, and it's a focus in Taiwan, so maybe we can actually get a group in Taiwan to look at.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Kevin,
Sounds
thank you.
great.
I
Yeah,
have a
thanks for
question
the
on
feedback.
optical. both the goal was more like low speed interfaces, and when we go in optical, generally these are high bandwidth, high frequency. So what was the thought process to have Bow optical?
So
So-
I didn't
Go ahead,
catch the
Kevin.
first thing you said, but both let's see. The focus of Bow Flexi is low speed. That's true. Focus of Bow is very high speed. And so and flexibility in that it's architectural. So there are reasons that it would be a great fit for optical, specifically as the die-to-die to connect to optical chiplets.
So Kevin, this is what you're saying is for CPOs like co-package optics, I can connect XPU with CPO using Bow. That would be an intention.
That's an example.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, so Durgesh, the bow originally 1.0, 2.0 is all for very high data rates. So the same applications as other popular die-to-die PHYs are. And then 2.1 really said, let's take this in a direction where there are other applications we can connect. And they all require different bandwidths and different data rate. How can we take the same construct, the same basic construct, and make it work for the other applications? So there is overall a level of compatibility no matter what you're trying to connect to what. That was kind of the overarching vision, I think.
So that makes sense. So who you think would be using it? Like, if we are doing something, do we have end customer or interest in mind? That's where I was coming from. You don't have to answer now, but that's something which I'm curious.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. The hope is that with the world of CPO and optical ramping up, given everyone and their brother wants to be in it, we're hoping there will be folks looking at this actively, and that's where I feel I haven't done a good enough job to have an outreach.
Okay.
But within the OCP itself, as Cliff pointed out, there are different other teams doing similar stuff. So we need to sort of look inward possibly and then start putting this together. But we can talk about this,
Yeah.
Durgesh, and I know you have some interest in this area. So
Thanks.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, like our labs, and a whole bunch of companies that are developing optical with chiplet interfaces, right? And there's also things like microdot lasers, which are not necessarily 100 gigahertz, right? So there's a lot of innovation in this whole optical space that's ongoing. And
Yeah.
die-to-die and power is very critical for CPO, which means a die-to-die type link is attractive.
Yeah, that's where I was coming from. Like Celestial is using UCIe, so just
Yeah, I
trying
don't
to
want to get into,
understand.
I mean, obviously there's a whole bunch of players, right? So, but just as an example, right? So, yeah.
Thank you.
okay, thanks, Kevin. And good questions. Thanks. Anything else, Cliff? Otherwise, we can end the meeting early today.
Not for me, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.
You as well.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Bye.